And here we are with another week of the Stone and Crane Show. Thank you for listening on in. Guess I'll get right to the point. Intro, you'd feel like after, I think we've made 20, probably 20 videos at this point, you think I'd figure the intros
like
out,
that,
but no, I still haven't figured anything out, so.
No.
I just kind of go through it, mess it up, and then continue going through it. So here we are. This week we're going to be talking about Castlevania TV series on Netflix that both me and Kyle, over on the other side, by the way, followed my guest, my co-star, my co-star, Kyle on the other side. Really enjoyed over these past 4 years, and especially this fourth season. I think you mentioned it back and forth in text messages that very rarely does it seem like the last season, is the best season. And in this case, I can say, at least from my standpoint, it is the best season. So, for you guys that haven't watched it, major spoiler alerts. Obviously, we're gonna be talking about the show. Heavy. Yeah. So if you want to, it is 32 episodes. Yeah, 32 episodes on Netflix. I want to say like half-hour episodes or so. Probably varies. Another one of those shows I don't think is heavy on making sure episodes are so-and-so length, which is nice because you get nothing gets rushed, nothing really gets pushed out from episode to episode anyways. So without further ado, let's talk about Castlevania.
Yeah. So we got I don't know where we want to start. So basically, it was a video game made in the 80s.
84, I believe, was the first one.
84, and then
86.
86. I mean, it was always kind of like a staple, right? I mean, it's been around for a really long time. They haven't made one since we were talking about a little bit ago. They haven't made one since 2014.
Yeah, they practically came out with a Castlevania game every year from 86 to about 2010.
Yeah.
So recently it has been cast aside. Obviously the show has brought new light to it, and I can hope, we can hope, for there to be a future for Castlevania in video games. I think the biggest problem with it is how much of a 2D platformer it is, and that's just not, there's no market out there for games like that. They tried for the cinematic video games in the last few Castlevania games they came out with, but they did not work out at all. So
yeah, it's hard to do, man. You got to do it really good to pull that style off, man. And I mean, you can see how hard Devil May Cry struggles, and you have to really lock it in and to succeed in that style. I don't know, to really pull it off, especially when you have a platform that's worked so well for so long with the side scroller platform style. And it's 2D is such a unique experience for so long, and then you try to switch it into something different. It's different.
Yeah.
Difficult to do. I mean, not difficult to do, but anyway. But these guys decided to make an anime out of it, and thankfully Netflix, man, they like to just take risks on wild stuff, and sometimes I feel like they put out a lot more content than anybody could ever watch. But
I know.
I'm always in when I first heard about this. The first season was like 6 episodes?
4
episodes?
Just 4 episodes.
Yeah, 4 episodes. Okay,
short but sweet.
Man, and they were so good, man. And, I mean, Dracula in this is just
scary,
phenomenal.
So I'll read the premise for people.
Yeah, you're going.
So when his wife is burned at the stake after being falsely accused of witchcraft, the vampire Count Dracula declares the people of Wallachia I'm gonna butcher all these names.
Wallachia.
Wallachia? I knew I
Yeah,
butchered it. Anyways, will pay with their lives. He summons an army of demons which overruns the country, causing the people to live lives in fear and distrust. To combat this, the outcast monster hunter, Trevor Beaumont, takes up arms against Dracula's forces, aided by the magician Saifa Belnades and
Yeah.
Dracula's son Alucard.
Yeah.
Which those three, by the way, are. I mean, Trevor and Saifa are like the best dual fighters ever, and then you throw Alucard in there, and then you got the best triple team ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really fun to watch.
This show is not for children, by the way. It's a heavy.
It's
pretty gory. I mean, for a teenager, right? I mean,
yeah,
but
high schoolers can watch it just fine, but
yeah, it's a bloodier show. It's pretty heavy, violent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just and then I feel like that's what makes this good. I don't feel like you can have a Dracula show and make it kiddie, and like for me, that's what pulled off that first season so well. What blew me away is everything is so childish for the most part, and I've been watching. I've been like trying to find new animes and things, and everything is just so, I don't know, not good. And this thing just came out. When it came out, I was just absolutely blown away with how well it was done. The animation style was great, and then the voice acting was just so fantastic. And the way they captured Dracula was just perfect. And then, like, from everything I know from, like I said, with the video games, I didn't play a lot of the video game growing up, but they captured like that, the magic of that video game, and then the magic into the world of the show, with like how powerful Dracula was, being essentially almost like the devil. So it was like he had just a tremendous power. There was like a scene in the first season where like he was like the fire from like all the fire from her, like when they was like burning Wallachia, and like he like comes out from the flames and shit, and he like tells them that he's gonna burn them all, like essentially like, I'm gonna kill you all and stuff. This is like absolutely insane. So it was just crazy shit, and when he proceeds to summon like all the demons, right, and open up hell and start creating his army, it's great. And it's Graham McTavish does Dracula's voice.
Yep.
He kills it.
So, yeah, we got Trevor Beaumont, the monster hunter, along with Saifa Belnades, a speaker magician.
Yeah.
Very powerful. Very powerful.
OP.
Yeah, pretty overpowered.
Yeah, she's super OP, man.
And then, as we said, Alucard, which is Dracula's son.
Yeah, he's half vampire, half human, right? So
Yep.
essentially Blade. It's like a badass version, more badass version of Blade. He can use magic and stuff. Has a magic sword. It was great. But Trevor Belmont, man, I mean, you had sent me a message and said that he took over, like, what do you say, like top 5 best anime characters?
Oh yeah, he entered my top 5 list for anime characters for sure. So yeah. He is awesome, and it's mostly in season 4, which we'll get to. Yeah. But I guess we can go season by season here.
Yeah, we'll just we can touch base.
So as we
season 1 is really short, right?
Yeah,
so.
Season 1 gets the foundation down, and it does it very well, I believe. It kind of shows what kind of world we're in, and everything between the execution of Dracula's wife and then Dracula, having this uprising of creatures taking over.
Yeah.
So that's really all season 1 does.
Yeah.
Obviously, it gets the team together. It gets.
Yeah, Trevor goes in and he saves Saifa. Saifa's one of the speakers. He saves her. She was trapped she was like frozen as a statue in one of the basements.
Yep.
Because she went to go help one of the cities, and he had killed the monster that had her frozen. So that's where they first meet. And then at the end of that season, his monsters killed one of the main priest, right? That killed his wife, right? So.
Yeah.
And then they awaken Alucard
at
the end of the first.
Yep. They have a bit of a fight. A pretty. Right? Oh, was that? Yeah. They have that fight. Yeah. Where because the reason they go do this is because obviously Dracula is taken off. They hear this legend that this person can defeat Dracula. They don't know who or what it is. When they open it, they obviously realize he's a vampire, and things don't go well. So they get into a pretty heavy combat, at which we
can bring it up that Trevor Belmont's family is like the quintessential the vampire hunter family. They're the
monster hunter. Yeah, they kill anything and everything.
Yeah, and he's the last remaining Belmont in the world. There's no more of him, so we can keep going.
Yeah. So they have this epic fight. I love the ending. Like,
yeah,
Alucard thinks he's got him pinned, and he asks him, like, what is the last words, basically? And Belmont's response is that he hopes his coat doesn't get drenched in Alucard's blood, because without Alucard realizing, Belmont's got a stake in his stomach, basically.
Yeah.
So after that interesting meeting, and after the respect that the Belmont earns Alucard, or vice versa, either way, they kind of get over their differences, and they come to this common goal of wanting or having to defeat Dracula.
Yeah.
Vlad. Some would say.
Vlad Tepes.
Yep.
Yeah. And I was surprised that it was only 4. I was like, they wrote them. You're talking about Warren Ellis wrote it, right? And then
Sam Dietz was the director. Yep.
Sam Dietz directed. So it was just surprised, like 4 episodes. I'm like, all right, they're just
testing the waters.
That's test run, right? And then I remember the reviews and like how blown away like everybody was by like how well it did. And they got renewed for 12 episodes almost immediately, right? Like even before it had aired, I guess.
8
like
episodes.
Season 2 was
8 episodes.
Was it 8 episodes? Oh yeah,
yep.
You're right.
8, 10, 10. That's how they ended up going.
Yeah,
4, 8,
okay.
10, 10.
Yeah, 8, 10, 10. So it's like, because what I was reading, they were like, they wrote them, they animated it, and then before it was even released, they signed it on for the next 8. Because the Netflix was like, this is fucking amazing, like we're doing it again. So it was like, they knew that they had something good before it was, and then once it hit ratings, like you couldn't stop it, right? So
right. I still feel like this show is kind of put on the back burner on some people, anyways. I don't feel like it's out there quite as much as it could be.
I think that goes to what I was saying when we first kind of started this. That Netflix, they make so much content, man. It gets lost in their crap. You know, when you load up Netflix and it constantly reloads stuff on their front page, whatever app you have or whatever you're using. For me, it's like sometimes to even find new stuff, it like even when you go to the Netflix only stuff, there's so much content in there.
Oh yeah, at this point, it's I mean, there's gonna be a point eventually where Netflix is just Netflix stuff, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So,
I mean, easily, right?
Yeah. So. And it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with all these new streaming services coming out that, all the stuff they would have or did have on it is not going to be on there, which is, Netflix's stuff is amazing. So, totally for it.
Yeah, they put out quality content, man. I mean, yeah, they throw up some goose eggs, man. But everybody puts out goose eggs. I don't think you can name a production company that puts out constant solid stuff. Nobody does, right? So, but you have to spend the money to try, and Netflix does, man. They spend billions of dollars every year to try to put content out, they they take risks like making this show, and they make a ton of anime and a
Yeah.
ton of like cartoons, right? Whatever you want to call them. So, but it's anyway.
Yeah, there was another that's made
Because they
by the
make like
same
Seven Deadly Sins,
company
right?
that made oh, what's it called that I really enjoyed? Blood of Zeus. I don't know if you've seen that.
Nope, it's on my list though.
Yeah, no, made by the same animated by the same people, same company, Powerhouse Animation, which yeah, animation, the fighting scenes, oh my god. Some of the best fighting scenes ever.
Well, we'll get into that. That's what I felt like this show did. Is like the first season was did okay with some of the Trevor Belmont stuff.
It wasn't too much fighting to begin. So I mean,
yeah,
where there was fighting, it was good.
Yep.
But
there was an episode in season 1 where he fought some of the priests, and he was like throwing some knives, and he had his whip, and then he taken it, and then there was like deflected some arrows, and then threw his knife at some people, and it was just, I thought it was really well done. But you could see the potential that like you give these guys some money and some time, these guys are going to come up with some really good stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then season 2, I felt like that you could see that they got it right. They got the money.
Yeah.
They got some time because they started getting into more of like some of the side character development, more characters, more story. And we get into. We keep going here. We get into Dracula's War Council.
Yeah, let's jump into season 2, so we can get into the War Council that is brought up in season 2.
Yeah, we meet. I won't dive too much into them, but we meet some cool people. Man, Godbrand was cool, pretty cool, right? He's a funny character.
Yep.
But then mainly we meet Hector, Isaac, and Carmilla.
Yes, those three.
Hector and Isaac are both human, but they hate humans.
Yep.
Essentially, but they're
Forge Masters, which means they can create these armies for Dracula or for anyone.
Yeah. These big like monster type characters are awesome looking. It's great.
And Hector's great. Isaac is on another level himself. Isaac is also an absolute badass and is probably top 5 in this animation for characters. Obviously with Belmont, he's probably my favorite. He is my favorite character in Castlevania, and Isaac is probably close to number 2. Yeah. Definitely top 5.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So,
and then Carmilla's just she's a vampire who essentially comes in there, and she's almost like she comes in with like one of the main antagonists to them all. She's an antagonist to Dracula, to everybody. You can tell right away that she has her own ambitions, and you essentially just don't like her from the get-go.
Yeah, she's evil. I mean, she's hardcore evil.
Hardcore evil, which is voiced by Jamie Murray, who people don't know who that is. That's Lila from season 2 of Dexter, she was the British chick from Dexter in season 2, was like his sponsor, which that's way throwback. That's like
it is.
Yeah. So people who are Dexter fans,
you mentioned her, but you're not gonna mention Peter Stormare as Godbrand.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention Peter Stormare. Okay,
I know you mentioned Godbrand, but didn't mention Peter. And I was like, that's fine.
Peter Stormare,
and then you're gonna throw out Jamie Murray. I'm like, if you're gonna throw out Jamie Murray, you might as well.
Yeah, Peter Stormare always plays that character though. It's like the same thing. Yeah, Peter Stormare as Godbrand's pretty great. Because as soon as he said it, I was like, holy shit, it's this guy. Yeah.
I know.
Which, I mean, too bad he didn't have more of a. I mean, heavy spoilers like always, but he didn't have more of a role,
No, he was. I mean, he was killed, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was killed in that season.
So, it says here that he guest starred in season 4, but I'm trying to remember when that was.
I don't remember.
I don't know either, but
yeah.
Another guy that served Dracula was amazing.
Yeah. So then you essentially just get that, and they're just building the foundations for them fighting each other. And at this whole time, Trevor, Sypha, and Alucard are trying to find Dracula, right? So, and they're
on a mission.
Fighting, and they're working their way through it, and they go to Belmont's estate, right, and to try to get weapons and
whatnot.
do all that.
Anything to defeat Dracula, basically.
Yeah, anything to defeat Dracula. Which this is where you start getting into like that relationship between the three of them starts really developing. I thought they did really well with like Belmont, man. This show, what I thought, I know we talked a little bit about it, through messages, is like the philosophy behind this show, man. I really enjoyed because it showed like the humanist side of like all the characters and like what they go through on like a regular basis, and just I thought it was really well done to show actual character development in such a short time. I just really enjoyed season 2 a lot with that aspect of it, especially the relationship building between all the characters.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh, it was cool.
Mm.
Yeah. So that was well, and then I guess we can wrap up season 2. Obviously, with everything going on, season 2 is a bit of a blur to me.
Yeah, it was season 2. So they're trying to fight him, right? And then Carmilla at this time is like in Hector's ear, like pretty much you have to betray Dracula because he's weak. And at this time, Dracula quit feeding on humans. He's like essentially going out in his last.
Yeah, he's weak himself.
Weak. So he's not the Dracula of like full power Dracula at this point.
Yeah.
He's like, he hasn't ate in a long time.
And
weak.
Yet he's still stronger than anyone else. It
so
takes.
sad.
I mean, he let himself loose. Is what it was. Alucard is the one who has the final blow, right? With the help of Trevor and Sypha. But honestly, it's because he just had a moment that he decided he didn't want to kill his son.
Yep.
And was like, "You take me,
Yep.
put me out of my misery." And that just kind of shows you how powerful Dracula was. He's undefeatable. I mean, at full power, there's nothing in that world, no vampire creature, anything that could have defeated him.
Yeah, that's what. And then just the whole. I mean, that's what this story. Just him, that character himself, and what they did in this writing of Dracula, this Vlad Tepes character, was just, I don't know, man, beautiful for me because of like the pain and suffering that he was going through because he wasn't there to protect his wife because she had made him essentially go on a walkabout to try to become like more human.
Yep.
And like because she was human and he wasn't there to protect her because she got killed for practicing witchcraft by the church. And he was like, no, fuck this, I'm rampaging. And he just went on this massive rampage. But at the end of it, essentially was just like, he couldn't do it anymore. He like changed. And then we'll come full circle here in a little while. But, the fact that they were like in Alucard's room and then he just couldn't kill him. And then, I don't know, dude, it was just like it was a really great moment for a show.
Yeah. And honestly, at this point, watching this, I thought this was the end of the show. I thought it was just gonna be a 2-seasoner, right? They killed Dracula. It was over. They looked like they went through everything, and then season 3 came out. And set in pace.
What a pretty good idea there could be season 3 at the end of it when like Carmilla beat up, right? Because like she took the fucking army and stuff like that because her army attacked the castle or whatever and stuff. So I was like, all right, cool. We're probably gonna get a season 3 because I just don't know where they were gonna go with it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, so I was kind of confused on that end because like that's what. Sorry to interrupt you on it, but that's where I was like I was confused with it. That's where I was like, I felt like they could have ended it right there.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is a short, limited series run.
It was great.
It was cool, and it was what it was. But then, like you said, then season 3 came out, which I think in everybody's agreement that I've seen. I don't know. I haven't talked to you about it, but it's not the best season of the 4.
No, I mean, it's
not bad.
It's a little bit more of a setup season to season 4, which when you have those kind of setup seasons, they do seem underwhelming. They do try to make this, what is it called, The Visitor or something? that that monster in that town that Belmont was at.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
the
that's
visitor,
for
or, yeah.
and as we're talking to season 3, let's talk about the judge. I want to talk about him for how very interesting of a character he is.
Oh yeah, the judge.
Comes off like kind of like a dick, and then he's like, oh, he's just protecting his town, and then you learn at the end that he kills children.
Yeah.
For
The
fun.
Jason Isaacs too, man, does his voice, man.
Oh yeah, it's very interesting. It is.
Oh, dude,
He's weird.
What a see the season 3. Yeah, I don't feel like it was, as far as like story goes or action stuff, right? Trevor and Sypha at this point are a couple, right?
Yep.
And they're essentially going eradicating all of the night creatures. They're like on these little missions, but then they find out that people are trying to raise Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're trying to bring him back to life. So then they come across this town where the judge is at, and he's like this hardcore city runner. Like he runs this little town, but in this town there's these crazy people that have like this little fucking chapel, and they're like, that's where essentially it becomes like the mainstay of their story,
Yeah.
But like season 3 has a lot of great stuff to it.
Yep.
It's just
introduced to Saint Germain.
Yeah, Saint Germain.
Saint Germain.
Saint Germain.
Yeah, I love Saint Germain.
What a great character. So I had seen something, and I totally agree with this guy's opinion on it. I wish I remember his name, so I could give him a shout out on it for his YouTube.
Yeah, if you remember, I can link him.
I can't remember. I have to remember. It's gonna drive me crazy. But he talked about it being like the replacement for Dracula's demise, like, or his same. It was the same guy, right? Love story. He found somebody he loved, lost that person, is trying to find her. So like, what happened to Dracula, right? Loved his woman, lost her, is trying to get her back. So like, Saint Germain is doing the same type of thing. He like lost somebody, he cares about her, and he's trying to get her back. So you have like almost the same premise of a character with totally different background, right? But then eventually becomes not a good person. But in this one, he is, and in this season, he's a good guy, and it's really cool character, man. And he's actually in the game too.
And he's good. I mean, you say that he's good in his own right. He's doing what's best for him, right, or what he wants.
In this season, in this season,
this is it's not white. I wouldn't say this is white or black at all. For Jermaine as a character, he's not good nor he's bad. He's got his own agenda.
Yeah, later.
It just happens, in this first season that his agenda lines up with our heroes.
Yeah. Yeah, they meet each other and they're trying to get into this little town where the visitor's at, right? And
big old monster.
Which is, that part is super cool, right? You find out that there's this, like, what do they call it? The
visitor, I think is what they call it, isn't it?
Not the thing, but the tunnel thing that Saint Germain's trying to open.
The infinite corridor?
Yeah, the infinite corridor. There we go. Yeah. He's got like this infinite corridor that goes.
I just realized I don't think I have a picture of Saint Germain, which is kind of sad.
That's all right. But the infinite corridor is like pretty much this world. He can open up these gates in our world that are like essentially teleport him to like all these different universes. In him and his woman, his lover, were in this world. He lost her, and then he got kicked out. So he's trying to get back to her, and he has like she threw him a jewel, and that's how he came to this town, as he knows that they're there. So they're like trying to get into this place.
Yep.
And eventually they get in there and they fight all these like badass night creatures, which is like, it's a really cool scene. And they fight him all, whatever. He closes it and he saves them, and that's when you find out that the judge is like
weird.
Fucking this guy. You think he's like not like a bad guy. He's just trying to protect.
Yeah, you think he's an asshole, but you think he's on the good side, right?
Yeah, which I thought that was a really interesting take, because you knew people went missing. They kind of talked about it, but you just thought it was because of the visitor, right? And like the night creatures killing people.
Sure.
But then like they come across this pit that he trapped one of the bad guys in, and there's like a bunch of bones and shit, and like kids' bones.
Not just any bone, tiny bones.
Tiny bones.
Kid bones.
And then they go back to his house because he said burn my house. So Sypha's like, what the hell? So Trevor's like, let's go inside.
Bad
And they go
idea.
in there and they open up that door, and there's like shoes, like children's shoes, like
Lots
on
of
little
them. Lots of
platforms,
them too.
lots of them. So this dude was like a child murderer. So they
He was a
fucking
serial
burned the
killer. He
house.
was, yeah, he was
Yeah,
really fucked up. It was really
real
awesome.
messed up, dude. It
Um,
was just a crazy twist to a character you didn't even know that was going on. You know, it was just a interesting take to have in a season that I felt that was weird to begin with. Like I said, I don't think it's not like this. When I say it's the worst of the three, I just felt like it's not like it's a bad season. The season's a great season.
it's just a little off the main storyline, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's
Seems
just not
it's not off that
because I
Dracula
feel
kind of
like it
storyline.
was you were. I felt like it was such a difference because there's no Dracula.
Right.
And you're like, I was missing Dracula, and it was like, what the hell is going on? Like, where's my Dracula? And it was like, I felt like that's where I was kind of like leaning towards, like, okay, like I don't have that. But then it kind of was going away towards the end of the season. I was like, oh, this is getting really good because you were starting to get like a sense of direction. Like, all right, this is a build up to something really cool is going to happen, and eventually we did. Right, we started getting some really good stuff towards the end of that season, especially with like Hector he was captured and he was like being treated like shit. Then he was getting treated really good, and then he got like, I don't know how you go about his story, like convinced in a sexual way to create night creatures for the vampires for Carmilla's war council. She's got got three women that work for her, and he was convinced by the pretty one to like work for them.
Yeah, they put a ring on him,
loyalty,
right?
a ring on his
Loyalty
finger.
ring.
Yeah, while they were having sex. So like he was like bound to them. So all his night creatures are now bound to them.
Yep.
And then so he kind of like played along with them, and then as he was playing along, he like, it just is a really interesting. Well, that happened. I guess that happened more in the fourth, right, when he started playing along.
Yeah.
More. But that was like when he was starting to like actually understand them more, right, in that season.
Mm-hmm. And then we got
Isaac was just fucking shit up that whole season, right?
Yeah, Isaac. So Isaac and his night creature army was facing. Oh, who was that? He faced Miranda was the old woman possessing magic powers who helped Isaac. The captain is a pirate captain who befriends and helps Isaac. I
can't remember that magician guy's name.
Yeah, so Isaac went to a town that was possessed by one guy, right?
Yeah, he just had one guy, like one magician guy at the tower that was possessing all these humans.
Yeah. So, and Isaac, not knowing what to do with his life, basically just goes and eradicates, because that's just how he feels. That's just what he wants to do. He realized, he goes through having somewhat of an awakening. He has a bit of more of an awakening in the beginning of season 4, but basically decides that he's gonna do whatever he wants, which happens to be good.
Yeah,
fits his agenda again.
Yeah, and the thing about, and then we talk about Isaac being able to make night creatures. He could do it with his knife he carries in his hand.
Yep.
When he stabs humans, he turns them immediately into night creatures. And they're like these, just whatever essentially they become into, like demons with wings or just crazy.
Yeah, it depends. I think it depends on the soul.
Yeah, I think that's what depends on the soul. And then that's where we got towards the end of the show, we got that badass one at the end.
The really philosopher fly? Is that what you're talking about?
Is that what that is? That fucking cool ass one with like the 4 eyeballs?
The one that can talk is what I was talking about.
No, not that one.
I didn't think so.
The one that fights Carmilla with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, we're jumping ahead. But yeah, so season 3 had a lot of great shit, man, because all that stuff happened with Trevor and Sypha and Hector and fucking Isaac had their shit going on, and you had just a lot of good stuff happening. But poor fucking Alucard.
Yeah, Alucard kind of goes into a depression.
Starts talking to dolls.
Yeah, goes a little cray-cray.
At this point. So at the end of season 2, they Sypha melts Dracula's castle so it can't teleport anymore, but it's teleported to Trevor Belmont's old home estate.
Yeah.
So now Alucard is essentially the new Dracula, not new Dracula, but he's the new protector of the Belmont estate, which has all of the old magic knowledge and like old knowledge of all the monsters in Dracula's castle. So now he's protecting it. And he comes across Taka and Sumi.
Think so.
And then there are people that were prisoners of one of the other vampires that was part of Dracula's freaking council, one of the Asian ones, right? Which was cool as shit. And they like, he was like training them and teaching them things, and they became like friends. And then, but they were like plotting shit behind his back, and then they were mad that he wasn't teaching them enough, right? So they were like, so eventually they like lured him into bed, and they were like seducing him, and then they put like some cool magic rope around him.
Yeah, still wasn't sure about it, but yeah.
They never really explained what that was, but it like tied him down to the bed. It was like some silver or something, but it like strapped him down to the bed, and they were like getting ready to stake him and shit, and then but he's got this bitch magic sword.
Yep, levitation sword.
Yeah, and it fucking
sliced them up.
Yeah, just pretty wicked scene, man. Because it's just you felt for him at that point because he's like a guy who's lonely, and he finally found these two people. You could see the happiness in him, and then they like tried to kill him. So then he proceeded to go all Vlad the Impaler on him and stake him in front of the Dracula's castle.
Yeah, it's like, nah, I ain't doing that no more.
Yep, he piked him, man, which I absolutely loved. I thought that was a pretty cool scene, that he piked him. It was just really interesting to see a guy like that who didn't want to become Dracula kind of became Dracula. So.
Yep, exactly.
Cool. Right, that's pretty much all of season 3, I think, from my perspective.
Yeah, same as well. So let's hop into season 4, the final season. Going in, you knew it was the final season. They had announced that, so let's get her in there. Don't ask.
So at this point, they what are they? I can't remember. Really remember episode 23. I can't remember that episode a whole lot. Oh, they arrive at Targa Vista, and that's where Dracula's wife was murdered.
Oh yeah.
That Trevor and Sypha do. They arrive at Targa Vista.
Oh my gosh! And on the way, by the way, the scene where Sypha is having a fit over swearing and all that stuff because Belmonte taught her that.
Sypha being a part of this group called Speakers. They're like a religious group. Yeah, they passed out
well-mannered. They're
they passed down knowledge by speaking it to each other and doing that through history, keeping knowledge through history. But they travel and they're very polite and they're nice and whatnot. But then she's not all the time with Trevor. She said shit while they're fighting, and he's like, what? So she freaks out.
She's like, I said shit. I say shit now because I'm with you, and you say shit, and all we do is say shit. And
She freaks out. Yeah, that was a pretty good scene, man.
And then I think in parallel, Alucard is. He was doing something, and he's like, "Oh gosh, I'm becoming Belmont."
I think he got done. He had that he was standing on the doorstep when the horse arrived.
Oh yeah.
The guy note from Destiny. I can't remember the city now. But from a local city, right? And he it had a note on there saying, "Please help us. We need your help, please, Alucard," or whatever. And he was like, instead of pike, instead of doing whatever. At this point, there was like the two kids were piked. Kids, I mean, the two young people were piked, and then there was also night creatures piked too. And he was like, went to go bury this guy, and after he's burying him, so he said something, and he's like, "Oh no, I'm becoming Belmont." So then he's like, nope, I gotta go help these people because he didn't want to like keep becoming Belmont. So he
That's
turned.
exactly what Belmont would do, though. Just go help him.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, it's weird, man. He's funny, dude.
yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
it's really.
then we meet Zamfer, right? Zamfer, the head guard of the underground court
Yeah,
that Belmont and Sypha goes
yeah,
to help out, I guess.
yeah, because they're like in. Yeah, because they're in Target Beast or whatever, and then they're like trying to figure that out, and she keeps talking about this underground court and shit. And yeah, she's kind of a weird character. We meet Varney at the same time too. Varney's another vampire.
Yeah, Varney and Ratko.
Yeah, two great characters too, by the way. Two great vampire characters.
Yep. Trying to keep the city from basically coming back to life, right? They're
Yeah,
there to just make havoc,
yeah,
try to finish off the rest of the humans, although that isn't working out the best, so.
yeah. And the cast of this show was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because Varney was Malcolm McDowell, and Ratko was that Titus, was it Welliver? These guys are some immense just talent, man. A lot of.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so they at this time they're like Trevor and Cypher still trying to figure out these people trying to like summon Dracula. They're like trying to figure out why, and like it just kind of goes to that whole story, right? That's what they're doing this whole time. Still, is like essentially it's still like a continuation of season 3,
Yeah.
and they're like still trying to figure that out, like why and who's trying to do it, what are they trying to do,
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff. And there's a lot. I mean, when we're just touching base, there's a whole lot of details in this that we're not talking about with other
Oh, for
characters
sure.
that are going into it and helping each other. And there's a lot of in the back work that's going on with this. But and then when Alucard goes to, I just had the name of the city and I lost it. Dinesti, there we go.
Yeah.
To help the people, and he shows up like a boss. And jacks up all those night creatures. And then decides to help them, but he takes them back to to the castle, right, to Dracula's
Yeah,
castle.
and he kind of meets Greta, right? Kind of has somebody to look after, anyways, with Greta.
Yep. Yeah, you become kind of like this great relationship, right? They find somebody really similar, I don't know, like similar type things, but somebody who's like just willing to fight for what they believe in, and
Yep.
protect, not going to leave, not going to leave their people and her people, right? So it's cool shit. And at this whole time, you had like Carmilla still at her castle, trying to like plan all this crazy shit, and she's going insane, right? And
Oh, yeah, big.
like wants world domination and fucking nut job she is, and you got her whole story going on, and not to mention who is because you had like because you have it's Miranda, but then you have, I can't remember the other vampire.
Miranda's not. Wait, what?
Who is Miranda? One of the other vampires?
No. No, Miranda was just a magical.
Morana. Sorry, Morana. Yeah, Morana was the other vampire. Was the slender one. I'm trying to remember the other one, the big one that wore the badass costume.
Striga?
That went Striga. There we go. Striga. She went outside and they were like, she was out there doing their war shit, and she put on that costume during the day.
That was,
like her armor.
Yeah, I know the scene you're talking about.
Had that giant sword from Berserk. Like, just went out there and freaking jacked up a bunch of humans. And she was mad about killing cattle, and like that whole scene where she was like super upset about killing all the cattle, and they decided essentially that Carmilla's a nut job and they don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And like you can see Carmilla's like plans kind of like dwindling away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you start to see it kind of fall apart.
Yeah.
So at this point, um, Isaac is building his army, right?
Yeah,
Even
massive.
bigger, massive
Yeah.
army. And is decided he's gonna go take Camilla down, right?
Yeah.
Or well, actually, he's headed towards Hector.
Yeah.
It just happens that Camilla's there, so um, Hector had finally made his hammer and made a few night monsters, but nothing, no real army.
Yeah, just a few dozen, right? Nothing like
Yeah.
it was in Super. It was a whole lot.
So Isaac quickly overwhelms their forces.
Yeah, which is a great scene because he opens like this portal, right?
Just all of a sudden, boom!
And just they all fucking jump through that portal.
Mm-hmm. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these monsters pouring out.
Yeah.
And there's some badass monsters too.
That's what I'm talking about. The one that had like wings and it's got like the 4 eyeballs.
Yeah, I know. The main like protector of
the main one. Yeah, the main
bodyguard, anyways.
Yeah, that thing was fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a great and then the conversation between so at this point Isaac, you think he's gonna kill Hector because Hector betrayed Dracula and they both had like this loyalty to Dracula. They were like sworn to him.
Yep.
You like think that he's gonna go do it, and essentially he goes in there and he talks to him, and like Hector traps Lenore, which is one of the other vampires. She's like the diplomat, one-to-one, seduced to Hector, and he like Isaac gets to Hector and he's just kind of like, I don't really believe in killing you. We're better than that. Like we need to work out our differences essentially and be like, we need to be humans and be better than what they are pretty much. And like, I don't know, it's such a crazy philosophy change for a guy who's been like beat down and broken for like the entire thing of the show and his whole life. It really helps talking to fly night creatures, I guess, and like working out your differences, talking to weirdos. Because that fly night creature he was talking to was like from like Greek times, like back in the day. Didn't he say it was like he was a philosopher from like ancient Greece?
Yeah. Yeah.
The weird ass one, but anyway, they ended up not doing it, and he tells him he had like this whole time Hector was planting these runes in Carmilla's castle to like essentially have like a one-way ticket to her and then block her in that area.
Yep.
And tells Isaac about it, and so Isaac's like, well, I'm not gonna kill you, but I'm gonna go kill her. Because she wants like world domination and she's not gonna stop until she kills everybody on the planet. And
yep.
Like
for sure.
All this crazy shit because she's like so obsessed with killing all men. So she's like, I'm not gonna stop. And then what convinces is, we got some great fights coming, but one of my favorite anime fights ever, man. I loved. Essentially, Isaac is sending night creature after night creature at her for a long time, so she's tired and beat up.
Yep.
And then they go at it. It was just an amazing scene. The floor is like, I don't know, man. It's not like it's thick in blood. It's not like she's like wading in it, but it's just super thick in blood.
Mm-hmm.
And it's enough where it's like making noise. It's just like
it's good 3 inches at least.
Yeah, it's such a crazy scene. And Isaac, Isaac's a human, and he's fighting this like badass vampire chick, but he's got these awesome night creatures with him, so they're just like interchanging in and out. Yeah, it's like there was one point where Carmilla goes to kick him, and that's when that badass night creature like comes up and like blocks it, and like steps in the way because if it wasn't for him, it probably would have landed. And it's just such a great scene, man. And like just the interchanging of them fighting and stabbing each other is just such a man, it was just great.
No, it was. That's what makes this season so great. It's not just one fight scene or one episode. It's this whole season is just amazing, man. I guess the beginning of it is a little slow again, story building, but gosh, those last 4 or 5 episodes are some of the best episodes ever.
Yeah.
So obviously Isaac wins, sets Hector free.
Well, Carmilla kills herself, right? She knows she's gonna lose.
Yeah. Well.
Stabs herself in the heart, blows the whole fucking building up.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But once again, Isaac gets protected by all of his night creatures.
Uh-huh.
But it's great.
So that happens, and then kind of switch gears back to Belmont and the gang. Well, actually, at this point, before Belmont and Sypha get to Alucard, they are being attacked, right, by those other vampires. They retreated that city into the castle, into Alucard's castle, and they're kind of trying to defend themselves. People are dying. Those vampires are kicking ass. We have this really great throwback monster that comes in, comes back from an old video game. Comes in and kind of breaks down the doors, right? That big mouth guy. Anyways, so that was pretty cool. Alucard is kind of not realizing what, he's defending himself. I already forgot. Saint Germain is kind of in the background, at this point he's resurrecting, not just Dracula, but Dracula and his wife, right?
Yeah.
Into the same body, right?
Yeah, because he went into when he was in the corridor after when he saved Trevor and Sypha, that he was in the corridor or whatever, and that's where he met the alchemist, and she told him that you had the only thing you really essentially can do is you have to bring back Dracula and his wife and use their body as like I can't remember essentially what it was, but like almost like a homing beacon type thing, and like sacrifice them to get her back. So like, so Saint Germain ends up becoming from like this good guy to like this not so good guy, and he's like working with the vampires and the night creatures now.
Yep.
And he's been murdering people, and so that's how they got to attack Alucard's castle. Is he's trying to get to the spot where Dracula was murdered to resurrect him there.
Yep. So
at this point, Varney and Racco are fighting Trevor and Sypha and Zamfir in Targabishta, while freaking Alucard is fighting all these monsters at the castle. So we got like two big fights are happening at the same time.
Yep.
In 2 different places. And you got this, these big fights that are happening. It's just this really.
So.
Trevor finds that bitchin' like weapon that's got like the 4 blades, and they twist and turn, and he like can throw it and it comes back to him. It's pretty cool. It's almost like the Xena type warrior princess fucking blade. But it's got like knives on the end of it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But he fights this vampire, Rocco, right? And
yep.
Rocco's pretty bitchin'.
Yeah, they have a pretty badass fight.
That's a great fight. And these final couple episodes, just man, it's just badass fight into badass fight into badass fight, and it was so well done every step of the way. Yeah, you can't really. I can pick out some points that I love the most, and we'll get, of course we'll get to it because it becomes at the end of it. But that Racco fight was great because he was beating the shit out of Belmont, and it was like you could see that he was like, oh man, this guy's actually like legit, and he was playing second fiddle to Varney, which he didn't want to, because he was like, oh, Varney's a blah blah blah, and Varney like ran away and he went in through this portal. and this portal led to Alucard's castle.
Yep.
So he jumps in it, and then after Sypha and fucking Trevor get it, then they jump through it and they get there, and just in the nick of time,
Right.
right, to help save fucking Alucard, which was a really cool scene.
Yeah.
Alucard's about to get overran, right, and
Yep.
you fucking all of a sudden you see the knives, and then fucking the flames come, and
They fight together. It's so amazing. And then they kind of split off, each do their own thing, which is also amazing. And then they kind of
that scene's cool as shit. Man.
yeah, and,
like they come together and they like kick some ass, and then it's like it's like a top down view, and then they just split apart and they all run their separate ways. It's like they'd never split up from each other. Like they'd always been together.
yeah, but there was just monsters everywhere, so they had to, and it was great. And then they kind of come back together, fight like these 4 monster vampires, headed by Dragon, I think is how you pronounce his name, is the main one. They look like they're about to lose, and then they finally, work together, which whenever they're working together, they're undefeatable.
Those 4 vampires were all cool as shit, dude.
Oh yeah.
I'm assuming they're got to be from the games, right?
Probably.
I mean, like I said, I don't know the games a lot, just because of their abilities and stuff. So I'm just assuming just because they didn't. That's the thing. The one thing I didn't like about them a whole lot, they didn't really show those guys in the show at all.
No.
They were there, they were kick ass, and then that was all you got from them.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see them do some damage in the show, but it was kind of cool.
Dragon was quite the badass, man. Just going all out, when it's the battle started turning, he was no quit, man. He was going at him. Got hit by Belmont's whip, the exploding whip.
Yeah.
His arm was like about to explode, so he just rips it off and throws that at him.
What I loved about that dude is he started off in like this badass armor, but every time he got like hit with something, it like took a chunk away.
Yeah.
And like slowly. A chunk would piece off. And I love that concept that they were like breaking him down.
Yep.
And then that scene happened. He got hit by Trevor Belmont's whip, and then his fucking arm, and he just rips it off and fucking throws it at him, dude.
Explodes. It's awesome.
Great scene. And then, of course, with Alucard's awesome like teleport freaking sword ability, where he like super fast and he goes to cut him in half, and then Sypha, man, with that finger gun electric shit, she like shoots the blade.
Oh yeah.
That was just a fucking amazing. What a great like couple minutes of fight scene was just so awesome, man. Yep. That was by far like out of the entire series, the 4 seasons, that few minutes of whatever that fight scene was with those 4 versus those 3 was amazing, man. Everything about that was just really fucking well done. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Because just having Alucard in like his cape and like the cool shirt vest and like having his shield and his sword is having him like fully geared up was just really, really great to have. It was just to have that happen, and man, what a way to have. I don't know, it's just great. And then you talk about it. So Varney is this. I don't know if you want to just jump on to the next part. So Varney was this vampire. We talked a little bit about him in the beginning of season 4. He was in Targovishta, and like he was kind of like this. I'm Varney of London, and like he was like, I don't know, he was kind of like a joke vampire.
Yeah.
And, like they all kind of made fun of him a little bit, and he helped Saint Germain get to Dracula's castle, and he kind of helped him learn how to do these things, and as he's talking to I lived in Wisconsin too long. As he's talking to Saint Germain about summoning Dracula back and what he wants out of Dracula, he like says something to him, right? Then he transforms into the alchemist, and he's like, "I've been leading you the whole way," and then he's like, "What the hell's going on?" Saint Germain doesn't realize it, right? And then he transforms into fucking death, which is like, I don't know, man. I was blown away.
Yeah,
because I didn't see that coming. even though they lanterned it like early in the season when like that was like the first thing they showed like in episode 1 of season 4, they're like going to Targa Vista and they came across that statue and that statue had death there and they did this whole thing talking about death. And I didn't even like, I don't know, I usually pick up on that stuff, but I didn't pick up on it at all.
Yeah.
But,
that was pretty crazy.
So what, then they break down like the magical barrier and shit, and well, after they like the fucking infinite corridor was opened, they actually got Dracula and his wife into the body, which was like a body who was sewed together, a part human, part male, part female body sewed together.
Yep.
And so Death essentially wanted that to happen to Dracula, so he would murder everybody on the planet, so he could eat all of their souls.
Yep.
Because he knew that Dracula would go insane with his wife's soul and his soul merged together, so he would do that shit. But they eventually broke down the fucking barrier and then cut it in half, right? And it blew up.
Yep.
And then we got like giant Death fighting Trevor Belmont.
Epic boss battle of all boss battles.
Which is like an awesome, great throwback to like video game stuff.
Yeah, not just Castlevania video games, just video games in general, right?
Yeah.
It's cool to see, and so like, yeah, that's probably what would happen.
Yeah, because he's like fighting this giant fucking death guy, and he's whipping him. He's like hitting him with his whip, and it's like exploding and shit, and like it's like not really doing shit until like, he's jacking up Belmont too, right? And
yeah.
He that scene's cool too. He's like sitting there and he's like you think he's about to finish him off or whatever, and then Belmont like stands up and moves out of the way. Then it like slices the whole pillar in half. And then he like starts going fucking ape shit with his whip and hits him a whole bunch. And he like fucking
distracts him really.
Yeah, distraction. And then so this whole season, and it was season 3 too, he's finding like these little pieces of this knife.
Yeah.
So as he's running up these like debris, he puts together this fucking little knife, and it ends up extending into like this dagger. And he like jumps at Death, and he stabs him in the skull with it, like right in the forehead. And he like then he kills him with it, like it breaks and like starts to decay, right? So
yeah, that's what made me love Belmont for the rest of life.
Yeah, I loved it, dude. That scene of like, and him having to do it one-handed because he like got his arm jacked up, so he like put the knife in his mouth. Yep. And he like pulled out everything with one hand and like put it together, and like I love that they did that, like because sometimes animators mess up and storytellers mess up, and we all know movies mess up, so him doing it one-handed to like keep in everything the right way, it was just I thought it was just really well done. And that him like defeating Death was just and like sacrificing himself, because he like looked down at Sypha and Alucard are like on a pillar way away from him, and he's just like, he tells her he loves her and stuff. What do you say something to her about? Oh, it said Trevor's a horrible name.
Yeah, don't name the kid Trevor.
Yeah, don't name the kid Trevor. And she kind of like looks at him, and then he turns around and fights Death. And like that moment, you knew that he was gonna die, and it was like, you're like, I don't know. For me personally, it was just like, fuck yeah, because I'd love nothing more than like a hero going out like that, because that's just, it's like the ultimate fuck yeah moment for me, and
yeah,
it's just a great moment. But I mean, they had to go the way they went, and Saint Germain clicked his little key thing and made a portal, right? So, but I mean, I don't know. How do you feel about that? Do you think that they should have? So 2 weeks go by. She's pregnant. They all know pregnant. Alucard's keeping a city. They're gonna, they were gonna name it Belmont, the city, and at the castle and shit. Keep all the people from Dynasty there, and they were going to stay, but then all of a sudden a horse comes riding in, and Trevor's on the horse. So they all thought he died.
Yeah.
Do you think they should have had him die, or do
Oh,
you
I don't know.
do
Some
you
of the jokes were pretty fucking funny.
yeah, yes,
No, I understand. I understand your point, but with
because I like that he's alive. I mean, I like it because it's a happy ending, right? And
yeah.
who doesn't like a happy ending? I love happy endings, but like,
So I'm all right. I'm okay with it. I would have been okay with it either way.
yeah, I
Um,
feel like that's yeah,
um, but yeah, I guess if I would lean one way or the other, I guess it's tough, man. I just, as you said, happy endings are just so happy. I guess I would lean towards the happy ending because the way Seifa was looking, it was like, oh, man.
right. But I think that's where I like the happy ending because like most times I feel like with Trevor it was like this character finally found peace with somebody, and like because he'd been like his family was right like blacklisted and murdered, right, hunted down and killed off, and like he's the last one. He's got to hide who he is all the time,
Yeah.
and he's got such a tragic history, and then him to sacrifice himself for the greater good, and then like essentially have nothing come of it except for that, like he just did it. But so for him to get like a happy ending, I thought it was pretty cool. I liked that he got that. So I was good with it, man. I liked the happy ending of it. But at first I was like, okay, cool, he died. Like I was good with it too, you know. But like turning around and giving the happy ending was great. I liked that they all got a happy ending. I liked that Alucard was happy, and Trevor and Sypha are gonna have like a kid, and hopefully we'll get, as they say, we're supposed to get some more stories from this universe, not more of these characters, but more from this universe, and hopefully it's about their kid. Um,
Yeah. What What do you think about Dracula coming back?
so yeah, so at the end of it, right? Um, is it Lisa? Is that the name?
Lisa, yeah.
Lisa Tepish, right? And then
Yep.
so you have, and then Dracula. So I was I thought it was kind of a cool little twist to have them alive, and like, and then them essentially being like, we're just gonna kind of live our life.
Yep.
And so the city that they were going to is the same city that Dracula went to in Bram Stoker's Dracula. Like, and that's where he lived and shit in England. So it was like a little kind of like a nod to that. So,
Cool.
but because it was like, oh, we're just gonna kind of go away, and I figured maybe that'll be like, I don't know if they'll do something in the end and have Dracula come back after maybe Lisa dies, or I don't know what they'll do.
Yeah, who
Uh,
knows if it's forward in time, backwards in time, too.
yeah, yeah,
Because
because you could
there
really,
is no real details on it at all.
yeah, that's what I mean. I haven't heard anything, seen anything. All I knew was that this was it, and they were talking. I didn't even know it was confirmed. All I knew was that there was rumors. So you said it was confirmed, right?
Yep, it
So
is.
yeah, all I had seen that was there was rumors. I hadn't looked anything in a while to see. So I mean that's good. I'm happy that it's confirmed. So because we talked about a little bit before, excuse me, with like the animation style, the storytelling. I mean Warren Ellis, dude. Just I don't know much about the guy, but freaking killed it, dude. Just was really good. I mean, I liked the story a lot. I was pretty much happy the entire time. There was never a moment in the story where I was like, why'd they do that? That was weird. Like, oh, that was kind of dumb. Everything made sense at the end of it. And I really enjoyed that and I'm happy they didn't keep trying to draw it out.
Right.
Four seasons was plenty, and I was happy that it ended there and not trying to like keep going with it. So, but Yeah. Oh man, it's just really well done.
Sorry, I'm just trying to do some reading here.
You're
No,
good.
I
Give me
don't. It doesn't. Yeah, there's no real word. So
Mm.
that's Castlevania, though, from
Yeah.
our eyes.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Watch it. It's good.
Oh
It's
yeah,
fun.
amazing. Let us know what you thought in the comments down below, and I'll tell you your opinion is terrible, and our opinion
We're
is
good.
right. No, of course not. Hope you enjoyed. You got any last remarks?
Nah, man. Watch more anime.
Yes, watch. You need to watch Invincible.
I'm watching the what is it? The fucking JoJo's Adventure right now, man.
JoJo's. Oh God. Anyways, I'm getting out of here.